morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the program agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran, welcoming you on this 8th day of February, Tuesday, 2022. Magandang umaga po sa inyo lahat nasa mga iba't ibang probinsyang nanonood sa Cignal TV channels 8 and 250, particularly dito po sa One News PH. Tuloy po kayo sa ating programa ngayong araw because today we are going to have two very interesting gentlemen with two very interesting fields that are miles apart. Yung isa po, he is a real estate expert. He went, I believe, to the Harvard School for this education. He is a real estate management graduate of the Harvard Business School. He is an architect by education, and he will be speaking with us regarding properties. Kasi marami po ngayon, there are a lot of people selling, nagbebenta ng mga property. Iba nga, nagsasanla, etc. And believe it or not, there are people buying properties. Para bang they realize that, because of COVID, let's not wait because we are not promised tomorrow. Yung iba naman, revenge buying. So we will speak to Mr. Carl D., a property expert, real estate expert, and teacher in real estate management, if I'm not mistaken. And after Carl, kayong mahilig magmotor, kayong mga sawi, bigo, at hindi pa nakakapagmotor, or katulad kong na-trauma sa motorsiklo, those of you who are aspiring, dreaming, or have actually taken up the hobby or the necessity of riding a motorcycle, we will be speaking with someone who's had training in the area. He has a camp for bikers, motorcycle riders, and he also got training from abroad. None other than Mel Aquino. He will be teaching us on the fundamentals of what we need to know, ano yung dapat ninyong unahin. Kasi may mga kaibigan ako, sinusubuan na po ako ng motorsiklo. Kuyang, join us. Like, no, I will not learn as you ride. If I ever do it, I will learn first and then ride because I already made the mistake of learn as you ride. And ayun, semplang, warat. I basically scraped the entire left side of my whole body. Mercifully, I did not bash my head. So from then on, it's been a long time since I got back on a motorcycle. But before all of that, let's begin with today's learnings. And let's start with a daily starter for the day. And it is from the book of Proverbs, chapter 8, verse 17. I love those who love me, and those who seek me find me. Alam niyo po, I'm sharing this with emphasis because in the time of pandemic, we all get lazy, distracted, intimidated, or discouraged. And we also start losing or missing out on time with God Almighty, our Father. And recently, I have really made an effort to reconnect with the Lord. And true to His Word, He said that those who love me, who seek me, will find me. And little by little, I am feeling that connection grow stronger and stronger. And I'm beginning to see things that I normally don't get to see. The optimism, the promise, the positivity. So kayo po, please be encouraged. Seek God, spend time with God. And I know that in time after, spending time with the Lord, you will get to understand hindi pala masama ang plano ni Lord sa buhay ninyo. Huwag po kayong yayakap sa politiko. Bawal po yan today because this is the official start of the campaign period. Bawal pong humalik, humapos, kumapit sa mga politiko. Kay Lord lang. Okay, let's now go to the front page of the Philippine Star. The time is 8:07 and the front page of the Philippine Star, ayan na po. And they're off, all set and they are off. Yan po, the campaign period starts for national elective polls. So yung pong iba't ibang partido, different political parties and candidates are launching their campaign. They're doing it in various parts of the country. Most of it outside Metro Manila kasi nagkakahigpitan daw masyado sa Metro Manila, and some are looking for areas where it is safer and more manageable. So ayan po, no? Ingat po kayo kasi campaign period. And in all seriousness, ladies and gentlemen, please be careful. Mag-ingat po tayong lahat because there is a historical pattern in different countries, specifically India, where the Delta variant broke out during their campaign period, their election period. So please be careful. Okay, now at the top of the front page of the Philippine Star, with right indicators, alert level 1 is possible. Yan po ang sabi ni Health Secretary Francisco Duque, saying that if the 2-week period, yung mga stats nila for hospitals, etc., normalize, it is very possible that Metro Manila, at the very least, can go to alert level 1. In the meantime, yung pong picture na yan ni MMDA Chairman Benhard Dasan Abalos, siya po ay nagbabalot na. He is packing his things because he has quit the position of chairman of the MMDA to serve as the campaign manager for Bongbong Marcos. Okay, dahil magkaibigan daw sila, ganun daw magkaibigan. Okay, now, hindi po yung commentary, that is a direct quote from the article. Okay, now, DOJ can issue lookout bulletin versus Kibuloy if, okay, sabi po ni Secretary Menardo Guevara, the DOJ can on its own issue a lookout bulletin for Pastor Kibuloy if they feel that there is already legal basis or there is an urgent need to do so. Okay, now at the bottom of the headline, we have pictures of children. Hindi mo malaman kung anime, kung cosplay, or birthday party, but that is the gimmick of numerous LGUs all over Metro Manila that participated in the pediatric vaccination of children. At marami raw po ang nagpabakuna kasi yung mga bata gusto nang makalaya. Okay. DOH, hopeful of good uptake as kids get jobs. Okay, yan. So maasa pa rin ang DOH na maraming sasali. Yung maliit pong box sa kaliwa, above that small photo, you have 11 in Dasera case cleared of rape and homicide. Ito po yung storya. This is the story about that flight stewardess that joined a party in Makati and where she was found dead inside the bathtub, and then maraming napagbintangan of rape, of illegal possession, of perjury, etc., etc. Well, the prosecutor who is now handling the case essentially threw the entire case out. Ang tanong lang yung bang mga pulis o yung mga pumalpak na investigador, sila ba sinama dun sa tinapon sa kaso? Okay, because ayan na po, no? It is unfortunate the family of the stewardess suffered, those who were wrongly accused suffered, and no one is saying anything about those who investigated the case, submitted their findings that have turned out to be defective according to the fiscal's office. Okay, and going to the bottom of the front page of the Philippine Star, a few items na lang po. Globe blocks 1.15 billion spam text kasi marami po sa atin nakakatanggap nitong mga offers, aloks, etc. Via text message, and they are considered spam. Kumbaga ito yung mga unwelcome, unsolicited advertisement or offers. And there is a 4 or 5-step process that Globe and Smart does where you can report them, and once they are reported as spam, yung pong mga yon ay binablock na ng mga telco. So yun po, for Globe alone, they were able to block 1.15 billion spam texts. Okay. On the left side, bottom, that photo is of Brigadang Ayala Kaakay. Okay. AC Health President and CEO Paulo Borromeo leads activities in the food distribution dyan po sa La Paz Parish in Makati City. Walang yan. Biglang merong pang nagbibigay ng spam sa akin dito. Anyway, and last but not the least, DILG rejects booster pass proposal where it was suggested na dapat mag-issue na rin ang government ng booster pass like the Vax card. Pero sabi parang, hello, basta nabakunahan na ng dalawa, pwede na yon. It is we just presume that common sense dictates that there will be a booster. Anyway, yun na po. And last but not the least, medyo better news. I can't call it good news. Only 6,835 new cases of COVID-19 were reported yesterday, and only 12 people were reported to have died from COVID. So those are the little victories we have, if we can call them, and that's the news from the front page of the Philippine Star. Tuloy na po tayo sa programa natin, and as I mentioned earlier, I mentioned that our first guest will be a gentleman who teaches people and organizations regarding real estate, property sale, etc. Let's bring in our resource person for today, Mr. Carl D. And let's find out from Carl, ano ba talaga? He is a real estate management graduate of Harvard Business School, an architect, has worked for top architectural companies, and is president of Spectrum Investment, a property portfolio management company. Carl, good morning.
Good morning, Kuya Cito, and all the viewers out there. Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat.
Okay, let's get on with the program. I guess direct to the point. First, there are a lot of people who are in very bad situation financially, have not had work for 2 years, have problems, and are resorting to selling their properties or nagsasanla. What advice can you give these people, Carl?
Yes, Kuya Cito, I think if you're in a financial situation na medyo hirap tayo, definitely the property's purpose is to survive you during these hard times. So if meron kang property at meron kayong minanang property and you're really financially in distress right now, then it's an option to sell it. And then, para ma-survive yung present time. Just like what the Bible says nga, di ba? Don't worry about the future. We live in the present. Yan.
Okay.
But of course, Kuya Cito, syempre, minsan it's so hard to sell property kasi ang hihinayang tayo, especially kung minana lang natin ito o ibinigay sa atin ng parents natin. But ang worry ko kasi sa sangla, baka financially we are not able to pay it and mas lalo pa tayo maging problematic. But if we decide to sell, okay lang naman, at least you can restart your life. Oo.
Kasi when you sell, it's a clean cut and you get the bulk value of the property, assuming na mabenta mo sa maayos na presyo. Kasi sa sanla, baka mamaya sinanla mo, ang binigay sa'yo kapiraso lang, only a partial or a part of the actual value of the property. And then when you are trying to reclaim it, the person you loaned, you pawned it to or pinagsanlaan mo, biglang, teka, hindi, bayaran ko na lang, ayaw mo namang bayaran, may emotion. So there is the clean cut version of outright sale versus emotional legal complications that arise.
Exactly. So baka konti lang yung money makuha pag sinangla eh. So, but if you sell the property, we have to make sure na we know what to do with the money na nakuha natin. We have a strategy for it. Kasi baka maubos din bigla.
Ayun, kasi meron to relieve them of a small of a shortage, parang lalo pa silang na zero. Okay, so but the question is how do you actually tell the value of your property? Kasi I mean, Carl, I think in the Philippines, particularly in Metro Manila, artificial valuation, imaginary valuation, drug-induced valuation is the reality. Parang hello, mayroon ka bang hinitit dyan at akala mo ganyan na balor ng lupa mo?
Well, sir, maraming way to assess the property. No? Number one is comparative analysis. Comparative meaning you compare your property to other properties. Kunwari, you always look at it from your buyer's perspective. Kunwari, may binibenta kang bahay. If you price it, let's say, kunwari na 10 million, isipin mo, itong buyer na may 10 million, ano yung mga choices niya? Mukhang wala siyang ibang choice, panalo yung akin. But if you price it naman na 10 million, ay wait lang, yung kapitbahay ko o yung kabilang barangay, mas maganda yung property mo ko for 10 million. Baka hindi mabenta yung sa'yo. So that's comparative analysis, number one. Number two naman is land value analysis. Land value is, kunwari may bahay, you take out the bahay, just the land. You sell, kasi luma na yung bahay, yung lupa lang. You can use, ngayon marami ng tools sa internet. You can do your research. Go to Facebook, if you type barangay, ganon. Fairview. You somehow you will see ano yung mga nakikita rin ng buyer mo. So you base it on the land, and then hiwalay mo i-assess yung structure. Kung yung structure ba ay luma na, bago, pwede mong i-compute na, okay, kung yung buyer ko, bibili siya ng lupa na bago at magpapatayo siya, magkano. So ideally, yung bahay mo na may structure na depende on the age will be very close to that. Kasi yung buyer mo always say, sige, pag binili ko to, bibili na lang ako ng bago kaysa bilhin ko tong luma. So it always has to be of value to your buyer. So the internet is a good resource for the comparison of prices.
Well, okay, that's an interesting point. You said, okay, so madali yung lupa lang kasi merong valuation do sa City Hall, mga realtors, etc. Nagkakatalo yan if there is already an existing structure.
Yep.
Now, some structures are 10 years old, 20 years old, but they're built solid. Now, how do you determine, kasi meron sa kotse, di ba, meron, although in the Philippines ganun pa rin, wala tayo ditong we are so ignorant when it comes to depreciation cost or diminishing value. Pero how do you value, how do you differentiate between a 10-year-old to a 20-year-old? Kasi like yung bahay ko sa Kapitolyo, sabi ko kung magpapagawa ko ng ganyang bahay, hello, ang laki ng aabutin, current cost to construct.
Yeah, so we always look at it from the buyer's perspective. Kunwari ako yung buyer, isipin ko, okay, willing ba ako to pay premium for that house kasi maganda talaga? Or luma na yung bahay, i-demolish ko na lang. So a rule of thumb siguro today in construction cost is maybe 25,000 per square to 30,000 per square. So you can start by matching it. Lupa to lupa, old structure to new structure, you can match it. And then you say, parang gusto ko i-lower konti para na naman may come on for my buyer. Okay lang yun. So you lower it a little bit and then the buyer will say, uy, sulit tong property na to. May lupa, tapos yung bahay parang nandyan na pero it's not brand new cost. What you want to avoid kasi is sobrang brand new yung cost ng 15-year-old house, nakaka-discourage for the buyer.
Okay, what about yung mga, okay, ito debate ito usually between husband and wives. Okay, no, we should renovate the house so it looks good, looks beautiful, and people would want to buy it. And the spouse will say, hey, if they want to beautify it, let them beautify it at their expense. Why do we have to spend money?
Yeah, Kuya Cito, that's a very challenging situation. Kasi nga, sometimes kahit gumastos ka, hindi pa rin gusto ng buyer mo yung ginawa mo. But I guess, there has to be at least a level of pleasantness yung property that you're selling. So if you're gonna sell a property, kahit make it clean lang. Make the vibes and the energy positive. Linisin mo lang. I think that's good enough. Wag na tayo masyado mag-renovate. Especially if it's an old house, tapos you spend 3-4 million to renovate it, pero yung pala yung buyer profile mo, they just want the land. Diba?
Okay. Okay, now let's go to the buyer's perspective naman, kasi I saw on your Facebook account, which is why I thought, we need to get this gentleman, is that you gave a 4-point guide for buyers. Kasi
Yeah.
nasashock ako, Carl. Someone had constructed a 4 or 5 bedroom townhouse, 4 or 5 townhouse unit facility, and pumipila ang tao. Sabi ko, dami namang mayaman dito sa Metro Manila. What's going on?
Yeah, Kuya Cito, definitely if your property has value, meaning parang, sulit, then pipilahan siya ng tao. And number two, if there's a real demand, diba? Like before, diba, when the Pogos arrived in the Philippines, ang laki ng demand kasi naghahanap sila ng property na matitirahan. So anything at that time, the Pogo na ready to use, they will take it. But right now, I prepared something for your audience, Kuya Cito, na 4 things to consider when you are the one buying property. Due diligence ba? So, medyo marami siya. Kunwari, it can be 15 things to watch out for. But to simplify it, it's under 4 main categories. Number 1, the property. I will give you advice on the property. Number 2 is the person, the owner. Number 3, the paperwork. Number 4, the process. Yung 4 P's of your due diligence. So, may I start, Kuya Cito?
Okay, go ahead.
Number 1 is the property. That's the first thing you check. Itong property ba na to, talagang something that you want? And mukha ba siyang decent? So that's one. And then due diligence, ideally, pag medyo empty land, you get a surveyor just to check kung tama ba talaga yung dimension ng title based on the actual property. It will cost you maybe 25 to 30,000. But what you don't want to do kasi is, ito yung binibenta sa'yo na property, yung title pala nasa kabilang kalsada. So a surveyor will help. And of course, a real estate broker will somehow have a semblance of, parang parang hindi nagmamatch yung size versus yung location sa title. So, surveyor will be a big help. Marami tayong nagtitipid na ayoko naman gumastos sa surveyor kasi ganung sayang money. But, minsan masayang pag you spend 10 million na tapos mali pa rin nabili natin. So, surveying, very, very good due diligence. And the usual price comparison to make sure that yung price mo hindi overpriced. So, have that knowledge. And that's for the property. Yung due diligence natin sa surveyor. Number 2 is the person. Ito medyo nagiging more deep na tayo, Kuya Cito. Number 2 is a person. Make sure you are dealing with the owner. Alam mo, Kuya Cito, minsan sa marketplace, na-attract tayo, nabibate tayo ng mga very attractive price and discounts, di ba? Yung pala, yung nagbebenta, hindi pala siya yung rightful owner. Kamag-anak, kapitbahay, classmate.
Para yan yung mga nagbebenta ng pyesa ng kotse sa Banawe. Akala mo, nabawasan ka ng problema bumili ng pyesa. Yung pala, kinukomisyonan ka ng 200, 300 ng mga lekat na yun.
Diba? Sir, may stuck ako yung patatakbo sa kabilang tindahan. Kuya Cito, I grew up in the Banawe area. Sa Retiro ako lumaki. Yeah. So, make sure lang, my advice to all your viewers is kausap nyo yung owner.
Okay, but quickly, Carl.
Yes.
Someone told me that nowadays the law says we have, hindi naman ako, no, but anyone selling or buying has to do this through realtors or real estate agents. Parang by law na raw yun. Is that correct?
Yeah. I think there's a law na you have to transact with a real estate broker to help you out with your transaction. Yes. So maganda rin na nakakausap niyo yung owner on the title. So hindi siya pwedeng replacement, hindi pwedeng daddy ko yung may-ari niyan, ako yung nagbebenta for him. Eventually you will have to meet with the owner. Okay, here are some pro tips pa. Kung mag-asawa yan, kailangan makausap natin both mag-asawa. What you don't want is habulin tayo ng asawa. Look at the page 2, baka may co-owner. Pag may co-owner, kahit sabihin sa'yo na, hindi, I'm the dominant buyer, ako ang 80% share. Whatever I say, he will follow. You have to meet with this co-owner. And they have to be signing in your deed of sale to make sure they are familiar and agreeing to the sale. If it's a corporation naman, mga viewers, if it's a corporation, minsan, 5 owners yan, 6 owners. Ideally, you get everybody's to agree to the sale. Meaning everybody signs off. Kung kaya mo ma-meet all 5 owners in Zoom, then at least mas may peace of mind ka knowing everybody's agreeing to the sale.
So it can actually backfire on you if you enter into negotiations or sale pero hindi mo naman hinarap yung mga supposed owners, heirs, etc.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Minsan
Ayun.
naman it will be okay, but there will always be that gap na parang, oh my gosh, hindi ko na-meet yung owner. Sila kaya talaga nagbenta.
Okay.
And then of
Next
course,
up.
if you issue a check, kailangan yung check pay to the owner also, wag to the representative.
Kung
Para
ano yung
talaga,
nando doon sa titulo.
oh,
Okay, Carl, sorry but you've got 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Number 3 is paperwork. So paperwork, ito na yung due diligence natin. You get a certified true copy from the government to make sure na nagmamatch yung mga owners and then yung mga pages. When you get a certified true copy, Kuya Cito, the goal is to check all the pages kung pareho sila. Kasi minsan tinatago ng iba yung page 4 and 5, nandun yung mga encumbrance, nandun yung mga uh, galing sa heirs na kailangan may 2 years na period, and then get certified through copy of the tax declaration just to make sure it's matched, and tax certification to make sure na walang mga unpaid back taxes. So that's the due diligence on the paperwork. And lastly, Kuya, is the process. So person, paperwork, process. Yung proseso kasi, just want to share, is first process, you pay all the taxes sa BIR. So you pay all the taxes, that's the simple. And then BIR will give you the car, the e-car, representing all is clear. Very critical yan. Kasi pag walang car, walang clearance ni BIR, it will not proceed. So once may car na, you bring that car, pay the city treasurer's office the tax, and then eventually bring all of these taxes to register of deeds to make sure na ma-transfer yung title to your name. And here's my last pro tip. Pag lumabas na yung title, hindi pa yan yung last step. Meron pang last one, which is the tax declaration. So, para magkano ka ng amilyar under your name. So, minsan nakakalimutan tong last step na tax declaration. So, finish that and then you have a clean title under your name.
Yun. Kasi many people think, pag nakuha na nila yung title, hindi na nila kailangan yung tax deck. Yun na yung pine-present. But in reality, when you pay real estate taxes every year to a property old or new, ang hihingin sa'yo yung tax declaration from the previous year. Correct ba ako doon?
The receipt from the previous year, exactly, you're right, sir. And of course, yung under your name. Kailangan under your name na.
Under your name. Okay, last question ko lang, Carl, but I am sure you will be invited back to the program with all those information. Last question, who would be in a better position or should be the one working the papers? Should it be the seller or the buyer?
Okay, normally it's the buyer. We want the buyer to have that knowledge of all the paperworks para maingat siya. Of course, if you're the seller kasi, you will try to dispose it as fast as you can. So the buyer and the buyer's broker. If it's a complicated sale, I encourage all the buyer, get a real estate lawyer just to support you. Okay lang may konting gastos, but at least you learn along the way and your property process is smooth.
So meron palang real estate lawyers.
Yes, on top of the broker, meron mga talaga mas familiar with the law.
Ayun. Okay. Yes. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Carl D, for sharing those important tips this morning. We will be calling on you in the future regarding this kasi hindi naman tumitigil ang bentahan at bilihan ng lupa.
Looking forward, sir.
Have a good day, Carl, and thank you for your time.
Salamat, Kuya Cito.
Okay, and that's Carl D telling us about land kasi marami pong nagogoyo, naloloko, parang eleksyon. Okay, sorry, hindi ako makapagpigil. Magpapaloko na naman ang marami sa election na ito. Anyway, let's go for a quick break, and when we come back, let's talk about something a little more, well, for some people it's interesting, for some people it can be entertaining, and for some people it will certainly be challenging, all about what you need to know before you buy a motorcycle here on Agenda. Welcome back to the program Agenda. I'm your host, Cito Beltran. Thank you to PLDT for their home fiber optic internet that keeps us on the air here in Lipa City. And next up, we are going to talk about motorcycle training camp, riding school. Kasi marami po, there are so many people, they buy motorcycles, they get on the motorcycle, and the only qualification they believe is necessary is that you know how to ride the bicycle. And as provided by the Agenda Research team, 80% of motorcycle-related accidents reported was due to human error. Kumbaga, nagkamali ang rider o yung nagmamaneho, and 20% is because of equipment failure. And that, again, is still the responsibility of the rider. So let's bring in a gentleman who was recommended by a fellow, a friend of mine, Christopher Salva, who is also a rider. He recommended that we reach out to the head coach of the MOY and the MAYOTC. Mel Aquino Yamaha Off-Road Training Camp. Mr. Mel Aquino, good morning. Welcome to the program.
Good morning, Sir Beltran. Nice to be here at your show. Maraming salamat po for the invitation. Papa Salva, thank you for the introduction.
Okay. Mel, siguro first things first, yung sinabi ko na nga, no, that maraming bumibili ng motorsiklo, and pag tinanong mo, oh, bakit ka bibili? Marunong naman ako magbisikleta, kaya ko magmotorsiklo. And I am reminded of my own stupidity back in the 70s when I bought a 750cc two-stroke Kawasaki H2. And sinabi sa akin ng mga kaibigan ko, kung hindi ka ba naman pala utak pulbura, pangkarera yung binili mo, hindi pangkalsada. Exactly. Okay, so Mel, what are the common mistakes of people who decide they want to be a motorcycle rider?
Okay, so once again, yung kanina, yung human error is number one. Yun yung problema ng mga riders natin. No? Human error kasi hindi nila alam kung ano yung gagawin nila sa sitwasyon na yun. And then yung second is yung equipment failure. But there's a third one. The third one is road condition. Alam naman po natin, hindi na natin mabiblame sa rider. Minsan dire-diretso ka, tapos biglang may open manhole, doon na aksidente din sa inyong rider. But of course, sabi nga ng friend ko na si Jake Swan, the more you know, the better it gets. You need to first, dati kasi, Kuya Chito, walang riding school eh. Yun ang problema sa atin, wala tayong educational na kung saan pwede mag-enroll. Hindi ko tulad yun, marami ng riding school, which is I suggest that kahit hindi lang sa amin, kahit lahat subukan nyo, kasi mas maganda yung marami kayong matutunan sa bawat school na mapupuntahan natin. Second is you have to invest on your riding gear. Maraming riders po ang nag-i-invest sa bling-bling or yung mga papaganda ng motorsiklo, pero nakakalimutan po nilang mag-invest sa riding gear katulad ng helmet. And third is they should know the rules and regulation. Pag bumili kayo ng bisikleta, mapapansin nyo sa Amerika, lahat naka-helmet. May bicycle helmet, may motorcycle helmet. Which is later po, pag-uusapan po natin yung 4 basic components ng helmet. Alam niyo po ba na ang helmet po natin ay expired?
Ano ka mo? Na-expired?
Yes po.
Ano yan? Gatas?
Actually, ganito po yan. Katanda niyo, kung meron po kayo sapatos na ginamit, na naulanan, naarawan, tapos nilagay niyo sa inyong lagayan. Pag ginamit niyo uli siya, nagpupulbo siya. Nangyari na po ba sa inyo yun na na-expired yung pinakaswelas?
Yung umanga nga, ang sapatos.
Yes. So nawawala yung dikit, nawawala yung tibay ng materyales. Kaya what we have here is a full face helmet. This is recommended to all motorcycle riders who need maximum protection. Ngayon, mapapansin nyo rin, nakalahati lang po yung helmet natin. And to show you the 4 basic components ng helmet. Number 1 is the tinatawag nating outer shell. Yung outer shell, ito yung hard shell. Na pagka kumalat ka, magagasgas lang to. Kung merong pointed object, hindi mo siya magpe-penetrate. Then makikita nyo yung pangalawa, ito po yung tinatawag nating impact absorbing liner. Ito po yung isa sa mga pinaka-importanting features ng helmet. Dahil kung suot nyo itong helmet na to, pag nakaramdam sa iyo ng impact, lulubog ngayon yung loob, i-absorb ngayon siya netong impact absorbing liner. Now, we call it EPS. This is what they call expanded polystyrene. Ito po yung na-expire. Once na-expire na siya, hindi na ho niya kayang saluhin yung impact na dapat po sa ulo natin. Yan. So yung third po is yung comfort padding. Alam niyo po Cito, yung helmet natin nung araw, hindi yung natatanggal itong mga pads. Ngayon natatanggal na. Kung paano tayo maglaban nung araw, balde lang yan, tsaka sabon. Ginagano lang natin, di ba? Tsaka nung araw, wala tayong helmet na mabibili na maayos-ayos. Kasi nung araw, usong-uso, Ray-Ban lang eh. Di ba? Yun lang po yung suit natin nung araw.
Inabot ko naman yung showy ba yung tawag mo?
Showy, opo.
Inaabot ko naman yun. Yun nga yung sumalba ng buhay ko. Kasi kung hindi ako gumamit ng helmet, ang mali ko lang noon, aaminin ko na, Mel, hindi ko suot yung helmet dahil umuulan. Wala akong makita. So nilagay ko dito. Kanya nung nag-crash ako, ito yung pinanangga ko, basag yung helmet, buhay ako. Pero mali pa rin.
Mali pa rin.
Okay, so anyway.
When raining, you have two factors or yung sinasabi nating dalawang concern. Pag umuulan, ang problema natin, traction and visual. Kaya ako tinanggal nyo siya dahil yung nakababa yung visor nyo, wala tayong wiper eh. So kahit iangat mo yan, pag tumama yung tubig sa mata mo, sa mukha mo, masakit talaga. So most of the time, yung iba, tinatanggal yung helmet.
Okay, so ano ba ang batas doon o ang rule mo doon, Mel? Kung umuulan, tabi ka na lang.
Alright, so dalawang sitwasyon. May rider na pag pumatak na yung ulan, lalong hinahabol yung ulan para makarating ka agad sa dry land. The problem is, yung pagbagsak ng ulan, doon sa tuyong concrete, nagmi-mix pa lang yung tinatawag nating putik. And that is very slippery than oil. Now, pinaka-advice natin dyan, dalawa lang yan. If you don't ride in the rain, you don't ride at all. So, ibig sabihin, pag nababasa ka na ng ulan, maligo ka na sa ulan. Rain won't hurt you. But of course, hintay mo muna kung malakas masyado yung ulan, tumigil ka para lang sa visual. Sa traction, pag sobrang babad na yung tubig, makapit na yan. Pero yung bago pa lang nababasa, madulas yan.
Ayun. Okay, now, let's go back to the fundamentals, Mel, no? Kasi meron kang riding school. Ano ba yung mga, what are the things you teach in your riding school? Kasi sabi ko kay Brother Chris Salva bro, wag na muna yung off-track na yan. Para ka namang para kang karerista. Hindi, yung basic riding muna.
Alright. The good thing about off-roading, we are training on a less traction course. Ibig sabihin, lupa siya. Once lahat ng skills na matututunan mo sa off-road, pag inilipat mo sa road, remember asphalt cement, mas makapit yan kaysa sa buhangin or sa lupa. So mas nagiging confident yung rider pag lumipat na sila sa kalsada. Which is, kunyari, may rider lumiliko, pagliko niya, dumulas yung gulong sa likod, nagulat, nagpreno, naghawak ng clutch, yun, tuloy-tuloy yung semplang. Pero kung galing ka sa off-road school, pag dumulas siya, normal lang yan, nangyayari yan. Hindi ka matatakot na bigla kang, alam mo na yung gagawin mo. At yun ang kagandahan sa off-road. So it's part of safety riding that when you learn kung paano mo gagawin yung basic fundamentals na yan, paglipat mo sa road, mas madali.
Ayun.
Mas kaya mo control ng motor.
Okay, no, because akala ko noon, if I enroll, hindi naman ako, no? Kasi, hello, itong tanda ko to, baka pakulong na ako ni President Duterte, sabihin, ngayon ka pa magmumotor, tanda mo na. Anyway, but in any case, akala ko kasi, most people think na if you enroll on a off-road training camp like you have, it is a specialized training for people who learn to do jumps and dirt ride biking. Pero logical pala yung sinasabi mo kasi talagang all that potential challenges are there, but at the same time, sumemplang ka, mas gusto ko nang sumemplang sa putik at lupa kaysa sa asfalto at semento.
Yes po, at saka pansinin niyo po, pag sinabi ho nating science, anong field ng science yung pinag-uusapan natin? Pwedeng botanical, pwedeng chemistry. Sa off-road, meron din ho siyang mga branches. And one branches is yung motocross. We don't teach motocross. We teach basic off-road, which means may flat track, may trials, may hard enduro, may motocross, may adventure bike. So, yung mga ibang adventure bike riders nag-enroll po sa atin para mas ma-manage nila kung paano i-handle yung mga motor nila sa kalsada. And it's also a recreational sport. Pagka nagustuhan ng estudyante namin, para mas masaya mag-off-road, hindi na ako magsi-circuit, hindi na ako mag-road race, dito lang ako. Mas makakapag-enjoy pa sila kasi outdoor open air At the same time, tumataas pa yung riding skills nila. And that helps the riders on the road.
How young do you start the riders? Kasi parang ako, I'm just presuming, hindi naman katulad yan ng swimming, na kahit di ka marunong, matututo, safe ka lumangoy kung meron kang floater. Pero dyan daw, pag hindi ka marunong magbisikleta, huwag kang umasa.
Well, that's true. We recommend that if you want to learn motorcycle riding, kailangan matuto ka magbisikleta. But would you believe 2 days pa lang or maghapon, kaya namin magturo kahit hindi marunong bumalanse? But of course, it takes time. That's why we recommend or we require na kailangan marunong na magbisikleta. Pero may marami kami naturuan dito na sinasabi nagbabike sila. Tapos magugulat na lang kami, ang tagal namin mapabalanse. Tapos aaminin sa amin, Coach, 20 years ago pa lang ako nagbike. So at the end of the day, natututo naman.
Okay, but what about Coach Mel? What about the age bracket? Kasi sabi ko kanina, bagamat nagpapatawa lang ako, pero may mga taong katulad ko na sabi, naku, itong tanda ko, pag na sumemplang ako dyan, baka magkabali-balibot ako, di biglang nagmana yung mga anak ko.
The good thing about off-roading is we can start as early as 4 years old. Alam niyo po ba yung anak ko 3 years old nakasakay na po ng PW50? We have motorcycle na maliit para po sa kanila. And then nakapagturo po ako dito as 67 years old. And I think you know him, Sir Jojo Palad. He's one of the founder of UP Mountaineering. He's riding already kasi nung araw, ayaw siya payagan ng nanay at tatay niya. Ngayon sabi niya sa akin, buti na lang, wala na magagalit sa akin. Wala nang papalo sa akin. And when he learned how to ride a motorcycle, parang alam niyo yung meron kayong gustong-gustong gawin sa buhay niyo na nagawa niyo, tapos biglang ang sarap ng pakiramdam. That something's holding you back. Pero once you experience it na, sobrang na-achieve nyo yung isang bagay na matagal nyo nang gustong makuha. And that is yung nangyari kay Sir Jojo pala.
Okay, now, sige. Total na. First of all, nasaan ba yung riding camp mo na yan, Coach Mel Aquino?
Well, it's we're located at KRB MX Speedway in Antipolo City. Kung alam niyo po yung pinupuntahan ng mga sa katotak na kamote riders dito po sa Marilake. Pag nagpas lang po ng RC Cola plant, nandun lang po kami. And ironically, ang dami tumatawid na motor dito pero hindi nila alam na merong school dito na po pwede magturo sa kanila ng basic fundamentals. Alam niyo po ba ang nangyayari sa mga riders dito sa Marilake? For example, we have a route, okay, corner. Ang ginagawa nila, charge nila yung corner. Ibig sabihin, pagdating ng corner, kailangan mabilis ako, tapos liliko. So nakalimutan nila yung tinatawag natin slow, scan, lean, and roll. Ibig sabihin, that's the four cornering technique. If you're going to a turn, you have to slow down first. After that, you scan the corner. After that, you lean the bike and then you roll the throttle. We are not four-wheelers. Ang four-wheel, direct steering. Pag niliko mo yung manibela mo sa kanan, niliko ka sa kanan. But a motorcycle reacts differently. Counter steer. If you put your handlebar to the left, the bike leads to the right. So yun po yung isa sa mga tinuturo po natin dito sa school. Kasi basic talaga para po mas maintindihan po ng mga...
Totoo yan. Totoo yan sinasabi mo na yan, Coach Mel. Kasi kahapon lang, meron akong pinanood na documentary on riding. Hindi naman sa pinaghahandaan kita. Pero kasi nadaanan ko lang sa YouTube. Ginawa nila yung bisikleta, naglalak by remote control just to prove what people do wrong. Akala kasi natin, pagkakanan, tuturong kanan. Yung pala, normally, instinctively, tama yung sinasabi mo na kakabig ka, you will go to the left and then bank to the right.
Yes.
So, kanya ako sumimplang nun Kumanto ako, period. Ang bigat-bigat ng motorsiklo. Ayun, hinabol ako ng motorsiklo, muntik pa akong patayin. Okay, so anyway, so you are in Antipolo just after the RC Cola plant. Now, ano bang philosophy ninyo sa entry level or sa mga beginners? Kasi that's another debate.
Yes.
Some people I know, and I have a lot of friends who are big bike riders, fanatic riders. Alam mo, tulad yan si Salva, si Christopher.
Uh,
Some say si Chris is okay with starting with the small displacement motorcycle. Okay lang yan,
Yes.
kuyang, 125, 250, maglaro ka lang muna sa lipa. The others are saying, kuyang, if you buy a motorcycle now, a small one now, in your future, you will be buying a big one sooner or later. So sabi ko, ano ba naman to? Papapiliin pa ako nitong mga tolongis na ito. What is your advice?
Parang ganito lang yun eh. Bumili ho kayo ng sapatos mas malaki sa inyo. Okay lang yan kasi paglaki mo naman, may susuot mo na siya eh. Yun yung karaniwang advice nila. But of course, we have the 5 factors of choosing a motorcycle. Okay, number 1 factor of choosing a motorcycle is tama po si Chris. Yung displacement muna. Maraming displacement na motor. Don't get a litter bike. Get a smaller displacement na kaya niyang i-handle. Second is yung seat height. Gaano ba kataas ang upuan mo? Pangatlo is yung weight. Gaano kabigat? It should be 3 times your body weight. Number 4 is yung width, yung lapad ng motor. And number 5 is yung saan mo ba gagamitin yung motor. So that's
Wait a minute. Ha? Sabi mo seat height. Kasi sa
Yes, sir.
bisikleta, meron silang sistema na dun sa singit mo o sa tadyang mo from your groin or your hip, they measure the length of your shank, and then that determines the size of the bike if you are going to go 28 incher, etc.
Yes. Opo.
Now,
So,
itong 3 times your weight, what is that?
The bike itself should be 3 times your body weight. Ibig sabihin, kung 100 kilos ako, kailangan, ang kaya ko lang i-handle is yung 300 kilos pababa. 3 times your body weight. So ibig sabihin, you don't get a bigger bike.
It can be smaller, pero it should
hindi
never
pwede
be
lumagpas.
bigger, 3 times bigger than you are.
Yes, sir. Yun po yun. Para ba for better handling. Now, kaya ganun ang sistema natin para mag-get to know your bike. Kasi sabi nga nila, bibili ka ng 650, mag 1,000cc ka na. Hindi naman ako ikaw eh. Tsaka ako sisimula pa lang ako. So gusto mo ako, mayari ka agad. Parang ganun. So, we start step by step.
Okay, yung isa kong kaibigan, si Bam Olivares.
Ayan, si Senyor.
Si Bam. Nakita niya na parang inuupo, nagpo-posing lang naman ako. Nakakasar lang ako. Nagpo-posing lang ako doon sa 250cc na mat motorcycle nila sa Romel City. Sabi sa akin sa Facebook, Kuyang, makakarga ka ba niyan paakit na Antipolo? Parang, bigla ko napaisip. I never thought about that because I always assumed na 125 can bring me up a hill, a 250 should bring me up a hill. Ano ba yung relation of the rider's weight to the displacement of the engine?
Okay, so halos lahat po ng displacement, kahit 50cc yan, iaahon ka yan. Bakit? May low gear yan eh. May cambio tayo, primera. Kung scooter, nanggagaling sa low end yan. So iaahon ka pa rin yan. The question is, gaano ka ba kabilis nadali ng motor paakyat? But of course, dito sa school natin, we're using a Yamaha XTC 125 na mas malaki pa sa inyo nung sinakyan nila. Kilala nyo si Nick Pinisi, yung basketball player ng PBA. Ayan. Sinakyan niya XTC 125 namin. They went up the hill. Nagulat siya. Sabi niya, baka naka-Harley Davidson. So I think we bought the wrong bike. So, sila, parang ang laki niya, pero naiahon siya ng bike namin. Kasi the dirt bike is actually a very designed for low speed na may torque. Hindi mo hanapin yung high speed ng dirt bike sa big bike. Pero syempre, pagdating mo naman sa big bike, hindi mo naman siya magagamit doon sa uses ng merong lupa-lupa, river crossing. So ibig sabihin, that's why we have these 5 factors. Where are you going to use your motorcycle?
Okay.
Number 1 din choice.
Yung school mo, training or your classes, how long do they go? Kasi it's good na interview kita kasi yun naman matagal ko nang pinagpupukpukan sa mga kaibigan ko and pati na sa MMDA, LTO na dapat bago makabili ng motor, makapag-enroll kasi buhay ang nakataya. Now, how long and how expensive are those classes, Coach Mel?
Well, we have this 3 sessions. Kasi yung iba, ino-offer namin yung 1 session but we recommend they get a 3 session. Bakit? The first session is sobrang ma-overwhelm kayo sa information na makukuha nyo. Dahil pag uwi nyo, parang yung iba nakalimutan ilan lang na makukuha nila na talagang magagamit nila. Well, kung 3 session, second day, uulitin lang natin yung ginawa natin, but may babaguhin tayo. Pangatlo, tuloy-tuloy siya. As in, may seat time ka na pagdating ng third. The courses, as actually, you can check out our website at www.offroadschoolphilippines.com and check our Facebook page at Mel Aquino Summer Training Camp. Message lang nyo po kami ron. Tapos, ibibigay po namin lahat yung kailangan nyo. Kasi doon sa registration nyo, included na po yung motor na gagamitin nyo, riding gear. Kung wala kayong helmet, may helmet po kami. Pero because of safety or because of the pandemic, better to bring your own helmet. Kasi sabi ko nga, ang helmet parang underwear yan. Hindi mo pwedeng ipahiram ng ipahiram.
Pero pwede ba isprayan na alcohol? Kasi
Pwede.
hello naman, Coach Mel, tumingin ako ng helmet. Nung nananaginip pa, nagpapantasya ba ako? Dumaan ako sa isang shop ng helmet. Paga 14, 20 mil ang helmet.
Yes, mahal po ang helmet ngayon. Bakit
Yung
po?
yung kay Jay Tarok, 80, tsaka kay Kim 80 mil yata yun eh.
Opo. Ruby helmet siya tayo kay Kuya Tim ngayon. Ang helmet po kasi, ganito lagi yung sinasabi ko sa safety riding. Magkano helmet mo? 30,000. Mahal naman yan. O sige, magkano presyo ng ulo mo? If you're going to buy a helmet or yung ulo mo, punta ka sa palengke. May ulo ng baboy, ulo ng manok.
Walang ganyanan. Okay. How much are the courses?
Okay, the courses starts at 10,000 pesos for 1 session. If you'll get 3 session, you'll get a big discount, 22,000 pesos. So, tatlong session na po yan.
So, well, pasensya ka na. Hindi mura. Sabagay, mas mura naman yung session kaysa sa ulo, no? At saka, well, totoo. Kasi magkano na ba ngayon magpatuwid ng nabaling baraso,
sa totoo lang po,
na sirang tuhod, etc. So, I guess,
knowledge, yes. You're gonna really use this kasi this is a life skill. And of course, kung ano yung matututunan nyo rito, pag inuwi nyo na yan, bit-bit nyo yan eh. Then we also offer group discounts and family discounts kasi minsan may tatay, dalawa yung anak. Siyempre ako naman, hindi naman ako negosyante sobra. I gave them discount dahil mahirap magpaaral talaga pag dalawa anak mo. Then they both want to ride a motorcycle. So we are giving them very big discounts pagka family at saka group.
Okay, now, sige. So, pero kailangan ba, do you need to do the lessons 3 days in a row? At saka may facility ba dyan na, o meron ba nearby hotel? Kasi, hello naman, mas gustuin ko nang magstay sa isang Airbnb dyan o hotel kaysa sa tawirin ko yung traffic diyan sa may sa may Sumulong. Hindi Sumulong. Ano ba yun? Sa may Ortigas.
Marcos Highway.
Marcos Highway? Sus,
yes, Marami na choke points dito. Well, here we offer meron ding hostel dito sa loob. Pwede ko kayong matulog dito for overnight. Would you believe we have students all the way coming from Apari, si Kuya Dominador Dayan, no? Yung mga nag-aharyo, saka si Dian. Sobrang nagbumabiyahe pa sila. We have international students, we have Koreans, we have Australian, French. Sobrang nagulat niya po ako sa
Are you a certified? Kasi kanina sinabi ko naman nadinig ko nga na nakapag-training ka sa Japan. Yes. But are you associated with an international group of safety riders and instructors?
Okay sir, ito ang problema natin sa Pilipinas. Wala pong certified riding instructor dito bukod kay Jake Swat. He was certified by the MSF, the Motorcycle Safety Foundation. But the only recognized training area here in the Philippines is the Highway Patrol Group, which is yung MRST, NCRC. So that's why I enrolled also them. Well, I got my training in Japan for last August 2007. I was 2 weeks there. And so sobrang dami ko natutunan. Sabi ko 3 days pa lang gusto ko nang iuwi. Alam niyo, we really want to be certified. That's why I got more trainings abroad. I got trainings with Chris Birch, Tim Coleman, yung mga coaches na dumarating dito. That's why I am called a coach. Hindi po tayo motorcycle riding instructor. But when you try my program, sisiguraduhin ko po sa inyo, hindi ko kayo lalabas ng wala po kayo natutunan. And I am telling this to the people. Pag wala ka natutunan ngayong araw na to, hindi ka magbabayad. Kaya pag tinanong ko ulit sila, may natutunan ba? Meron po. Okay, magbabayad kayo.
Ay, hindi. Asahan mo, mag-enroll ako sa'yo pag medyo lumuwag-luwag na. Pag wala kang natutunan, isasara kita.
Yes po, wala problema. But we are complete talaga. Talagang sasabihin niyo po, iba talaga pagka nag-aral ka. And Chris Salva can attest to that every people na gustong matutong magmotor, sir, you try my program. I'm 100%, I'm very, kumbaga, confident po ako na may matututunan po ako
Pero
sa programa.
is it easy to enroll now kasi of all this alam mo na yung COVID, mga pandemics, etc. Ano ba ang rule para mag-enroll diyan? Last question ko na yan.
Yes po, sige po.
Mel.
Opo, kailangan nyo lang po, para lang mas papadali po yung trabaho namin, we really wanted na marunong po talaga magbisikleta. And hindi po 20 years ago. Kailangan po, recently nagbabike po kayo. And then, we have Learn to Ride program, that's number one. That's our first course, yung mga hindi pa marunong magmotor pero marunong magbike, that's Learn to Ride program. Pag kayo po ay nagbumotor na, at first time use of dirt, we offer the basic off-road program. Pag marunong na kayo, pumasa na po kayo sa basic off-road training program natin, i-offer na po namin sa inyo yung trail ride module. Ito po yung akit tayo sa bundok, mag-river crossing tayo, akit tayo ng maraming ugat or sobrang steep hill, paano ang gagawin natin? And yun po yung tatlong ino-offer po namin sa eskwela namin. Kaya kumpleto po tayo.
Okay, well, Coach Mel, I'm really thankful that we had this time on the show. And
Yes, thank you
sana
po.
naman yung mga nakapanood i-share din sa mga iba at magkwento because that more than anything is what we need. We need international certification, we need international coaches, we need proper schools and requirements for training para nasi-save natin ang mga buhay at disgrasya lang mga kamote riders. Thank you very much, Coach Mel.
Maraming salamat po. Thank you very much po. Ride safe, guys. God bless you all.
Okay, that's Coach Mel Aquino of the Mel Aquino Outdoor, tawag ba niya? Mel Aquino Yamaha off-track training camp. And let's go to our extra, our blessing for the week. We have from the book 1 Peter 5:10, and the glory and the God of all grace, who called you to his eternal glory in Christ, after you have suffered a little while, will himself restore you and make you strong, firm, and steadfast. Tandaan niyo po yan, that is a promise from the Lord that He will make you strong, firm, and steadfast. Manalig, manindigan, mag-aral. I'm Cito Beltran, thanking you for joining us this morning. Please keep it here on One News PH.